Taking the convo to high levels. Comment, like, and subscribe if you're enjoying Durable Minds Radio.
That's two different fractions of life. You did what I'm saying? You talking about the sidewalk in the street, the highway and the interstate.
Nah, for real. Tell him, P.
You did what I'm saying? And niggas don't have a proper understanding of the origin of the game. Anything you do, you got to study that shit. You got to study where it started.
Yep.
Where did the terminology come from? Niggas don't understand that shit. So how you gonna properly lace a bitch and you ain't properly laced on the information? You got to do your research and your homework, man. And that's basic fundamentals of anything.
Hey, all right. So y'all two, y'all know each other? This
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that don't matter. We talking about the game though. I'm talking about the game. You told me to
are
come up and
y'all
tell
are
you
y'all
how
talking
girl
about the
told
game? Is y'all talking about the game?
see
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
But hey,
Cause
answer your question. Answer your question. Yeah, I know her.
yeah, but he asked, he said, why there's so many renegades out here?
We explained that shit already. We already passed that. What I'm
In
saying,
my
Okay,
you be
so
my
asking
so
the
let
question with a
okay,
question
hold
sometimes. You
on.
can't do that.
B5,
Huh?
relax.
I
I could
never
do what
answered
I
that
want to
question.
do.
I never addressed
You
that
can't.
question. But let
That's
me.
your problem. You trying to tell somebody what they can and can't do. You can't do that. You worry about you. I'm over here regulating. I let y'all talk for a good minute. Now I wanted to see his perspective of what y'all said.
Okay,
That's how that thing go over here.
You just
my
said, are y'all still talking about the game? Yes, we are. I just answered your question. Yes, we
I
are.
don't I don't necessarily mean like y'all. It's. I'm trying to get to some substance of it, right? That,
okay. Well,
And fuck.
my take on that is the reason why it's so many renegades is because a lot of hoes losing faith in the pimping. They losing trust in the pimping because of what so many pimps have done to the girls. You know, they losing faith, and I hate that. When I run across a good hoe, that
well, give an example of what of these dudes that you're calling pimps are doing to these females that's making them become renegades. Because I wouldn't consider them, a real renegade is a female that had a good structure in the program and she didn't like the structure of a program, but she just wanted to get the money now. So that's a real essence of a renegade. These females that are getting into the game the wrong way, that probably was never with a real pimp, you get what I'm saying? But they think they was with a real pimp and now they think they know something and they want to tell what a real pimp is and all of that, and they never told themselves that they didn't choose a real pimp, and now they're just mad at all pimps. I
Man,
think that's what y'all be calling
nah.
renegades nowadays. You
well,
get what I'm saying? A female that really don't even know the game, but she
where you going, what you doing, she's trusting the pimping. You do what I'm saying? But some kind of way a situation happens, the information gets revealed to her that you've been doing all this other shit. I'm not saying if he's a pimp or not, what he does. I'm just giving you an example of how hoes are losing faith
right.
in the
And what I'm
pimping and
trying to
why.
get, I get exactly what you're saying, Pete. I do. And what I'm trying to get you to understand, because I understand you, is that they have to self-reflect on their self to challenge their self to tell their self that they made a bad decision. And that's the only way they can. And that's why I don't necessarily call them renegades. Because a renegade's going to understand the structure of what a real pimp is, and she's anti that. You get what I'm saying? She's not going to get with these pretenders and then now have a bad taste because she was with a pretender for so long and now she's like, oh, all these niggas is like that dude. No, that dude was never doing it the right way. You can't say he was a pimp. You can't
But
do that and then call yourself a renegade. It just don't work that way.
but you have to understand when I go back when I was talking about the origin of the game, when a female is implemented into the game, whoever brings her into the game, this is what she has a perception of the game to be. So after 10 years of being with this guy, you know, you can't erase the memory from what she did in the game. You know, you can't erase that. It ain't Men in Black where the bitch can just bleep and delete. I wish we can do this shit like that, just bleep a bitch memory. You know what I'm saying? But we can't. So
You
that
saying
thing and that experience is still in her brain. So that's her perception of the game.
so you
Right.
saying it's
But
like the first nigga that starts off that pimp her off and whatever he teach her, that's what the bitch like pick up and the bitch will turn against it, you feel me, if it ain't real teaching.
That's exactly, and that's the reason why. Like when I be getting bitches, man, I be having to take their shoes off, take their toenail polish off, and lace these bitch all the way back up because they
Right,
introduction
right.
into
But
the
you can't
game.
call that female a renegade. I'm agreeing with y'all. That's why I'm not calling them renegades. Because when you call them renegades, that's pumping fuel for them to hate pimps. You gotta let them know you wasn't with a pimp, so you're not even a renegade because you don't know the true
Okay,
essence of a pimp.
I agree with that. Now let me ask you a question. What about the renegades that you're talking about that are real renegades that still lose trust in the pimping and they was actually with a pimp? The renegades that you're
I
speaking
don't
of.
think this is my thing with renegades. I don't think they become renegades because they lose trust in the pimp. I think they become renegades because they don't want the structure that it comes with being with a pimp. They don't like the structure. It's
Well, if
not the
that's the, if that's
trust.
the case, if that's the case, then they're not real renegades. Then they're not renegades because a real renegade, she would understand and respect the structure. She would just stay a
Right.
renegade until she
No,
found out.
no, no. A renegade is going to go against the structure of the pimp and hoe community. The structure of what a pimp is, not the structure of what a trick is. You get what I'm saying? That's what a renegade is. They're going against the pimp structure.
So you saying that a bitch can be a renegade? She could be with a folk for 10 years, and at the blink of an eye, what makes her want to go against the structure that she was with for 10 years? That's what I'm asking you.
Because he might still be pimping like a motherfucker and she wants to settle down.
So if a bitch just starts selling her pussy on her own, is that a renegade and never had a pimp?
No, that's called prostitution. She's a prostitute. She's a sex worker.
Because a renegade is a title for a reason.
Right. And I'm trying to
I
tell
agree.
y'all
I
that I'm
agree.
trying to do I'm
I'm
keep
picking
giving
up
you
what
the
you're putting down.
definition of the title of a renegade.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Y'all
I'm
call
big on titles.
renegades that are dealing with non-pimps, and there was no structure. They was dealing with a non-pimp, and they didn't, they felt like they wasn't growing because they was dealing with a non-pimp. So now they're getting money their own way, and they don't want to deal with pimps no more because they had a bad experience with a non-pimp. I'm not giving them renegades call. I call a girl a renegade when she knows there's structures within a real pimp and she don't want to go with that structure with a real pimp. She just wants to get the money and do whatever she wants to do. But she knows structure with a real pimp. Why? Because she's been with the real pimp before. You guys are giving these girls scapegoats because a lot of these dudes are fake peas. So when they do shit wrong, these girls get the scapegoat to call themselves a renegade. Like, no, you never was with a pimp to become a renegade. How the fuck you gonna be a renegade and you was never with a pimp? It don't work that way. You got to be with a pimp to become a renegade.
It's it's kind of like it's almost like a hidden hand, man.
It's not
if you
about
if you
trust. It's about structure, right? That's what the pimp man is about. That's why a lot of these dudes, when they meet females, it's all about trust. Oh, I could do this for you and that for you. It's like, look, it's about structure. Within the structure, everything's going to fall into place for both of us. And that's what the pimp is about. So when they go against the structure of a pimp, that's when they become a renegade, not the trust. When y'all lean on trust, that's 9 times out of 10. She wasn't dealing with a pimp. That's why she left on trust because he was doing shit contrary to the structure of a pimp.
it's kind of like, to me, it's a big disparity when you speak of non pimping and pimping, right? Because it's impossible for a person to see every intricate detail of a pimp's program.
No, it's not. It's not about seeing every little detail. It's like I just posted today. It's not about a female looking for dreams and fantasy talk. It's about a female actually taking what she's about to choose to do with her life seriously enough. You get what I'm saying? If these females came with that mindset, they will stop feeling like they can't trust the pimp because they would take it serious. Like back before there was internet and all this stuff, when these females used to jump in this game, they took it seriously because they didn't have no distractions. They have to take whatever they doing with their life seriously because there was no distractions. Nowadays, there's so many distractions. So they'll see something on the internet, see something on the TV, and then they could compare it to whoever pimp they talking to. So now if it looks good, sounds good, oh, I'm running with it. But guess what? This dude ain't got no structure because he ain't even been in the lifestyle. He don't got the experience. So now she leaves that, but now because of the internet and all that, she feel like she a renegade. And it's like, what? You
Hey,
got what? How does that work?
hey, it's crazy you said that because that's one of the things that I implement. Is teaching a motherfucker from the ground up. Like, I make a motherfucker don't even, I make a motherfucker don't even have a cell phone for like 2 months.
Yeah, you gotta, it's the grassroots, right? This game is older than all the internets, all the social medias. It's been around longer than, it's been around before cell phones. So if you think about that, and then you think these females are coming in this lifestyle, you got to be willing to be able to teach them the grassroots of this lifestyle to where they want to take it seriously to come up within this game, because that's the only way. There is no shortcuts, because you see the glamour and the glitz, they think it's shortcuts. So now they're like, oh, this nigga didn't do this. He was doing this wrong and he was doing this wrong. And it's like, well, you came to him looking for a shortcut in life. Because if you knew there was no shortcuts, you would have been got rid of that situation and been chose a real situation.
And
You know?
that's why I was speaking when I say the origin. Motherfuckers ain't really. To me, the introduction, is everything. It's like the foundation. You know, when
Yeah.
when you interviewing the motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Because the P got a choice too. You know what I mean? It ain't just the bitch got a choice of who she choosing or who she want to be with. You know, and a lot of I tell the bitch all the time. I say y'all don't even know how to choose a pimp, because y'all never. I say majority of the guys in the game have never met a real pimp, and the majority of the females have never met a real pimp. I hear it all the time. Females talking about he ain't no pimp. You've never met a real pimp to even compare what is and what ain't. And a lot of guys have never had a real hoe. That was one of the things that I was fortunate enough to have at a young age, was a real prostitute.
Well,
Not
how old are
really
you,
like
man? How old are you, Magnificent?
I'm 45.
Well, yeah, you young. That's because it was before all the distractions.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
I never even had I never they like the word 304. I don't even really like using that word.
Well,
It-
it's because, and this
Because
is
when
what
I
I
was when
break
I was
down.
coming up, we used to put 304 in the beeper. Like you
No,
turn the
I
beeper
get what you're
upside.
saying. The reason the 304 was rebranded, right, is because it comes from the square community, right? It comes from the red pills. These dudes that had girlfriends that wanted to do like OnlyFans or wanted to work in the strip clubs or something, they got mad at them females. So these dudes get their little groups and they start talking about females, and they couldn't call them hoes, what they wanted to call them on the internet. So they start calling them 304s. So what that did was open the door for a lot of the working girls, the prostitute girls, the girls that y'all be calling renegades that really never been in the lifestyle. That's what I call 304s, right? The
no,
females that have
yeah.
folks, I call them hoes because they dealing with a pimp. So they get the title of hoes. But them 304s is for all the females out there that know what a trick is and they trying to get their little money, whether they OnlyFans,
I,
strip clubs, they all want to be 304s. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm glad you clarified that because I was kind of wondering, like, what's the difference too?
Yeah,
Well, that's
I
just
agree with
my
that. I've
opinion.
always
That's my definition is. You know what I mean?
yeah
But
we
that is where
we
the root word rebranded 304. That's facts. It comes from the red pill community that be hating on females. And then the females, they're feminists. These sex workers, they come in the feminist world, the ones that's not really in the lifestyle. So they run with it. That's where that 304 trend comes. It's a lot of feminist females that's about, the LGBT, getting their money, ban the abortion. They all gel together within that little 304 community, and they try to rise. But reality is they never had no pimp.
you
But
know
the
that was
stereotype of the pimp man is so negative that they're gonna become quote unquote renegades. You know what I mean? But reality is they not
Before
renegades.
you slide, press subscribe. Durable minds, radio, logic apply. Hit the button, elevate your grind. High level conversation. Durable minds.